What's up, YouTube? This is Vernacular TV. If you like the content that I'm producing, please like the video, post a comment, and subscribe to the channel. This week, as President Joe Biden concludes his visit to Asia, you know the conversation about what if, when it comes to Taiwan, what if China invades Taiwan like Russia invaded Ukraine? What would the United States do? As the president concludes his trip to Asia, he met with his counterpart, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. He met with Mr. Kishida, Prime Minister Kishida, as they have a news conference. A reporter asked the president about United States policy on Taiwan, and the president said the United States support Taiwan sovereignty, support the one China policy. Then the reporter went into a further question and asked the president, hypothetically, what if China does invade Taiwan? What would the United States do? From the perspective of forcefully invading Taiwan, the president said that the United States would defend Taiwan. United States would put boots on the ground. United States would intervene. That's saying shocking echo to the Chinese, because this week alone, China and Russia both had carried out military exercise while President Joe Biden was visiting Asia. But that conversation is taking place in the current international politics. One thing that the former president, President Donald J. Trump, one thing he made clear before he left office in his national security briefing, he said that great power, what he left behind, great power competition has surpassed the war on terrorism. Since 9/11, the United States have been battling terrorism all over the globe, fighting global terrorism, as the former president George W. Bush declared. Fighting global terrorism, sometimes Islamic terrorism, all these talking points and things like that. But however, great power competition has surpassed the war on terrorism. We're seeing great power competition, great power struggle going on in Ukraine. On February the 24th of this year, a great power, military power in Russia invaded Ukraine. That sends shockwave to the international system. It sends shockwave to Europe, to NATO. Germany is on high alert. Military budget is increasing. NATO military expenditure is increasing. The United States supporting Ukraine heavily. Great power competition, as Trump, before he left in his national security briefing, his military people, they all came out with this document that great power competition has surpassed everything in this current time, and where the capitalist system is moving, the access to resource, the access to new market, the access to client state, the access to just the things that the system need to keep feeding on, the uranium, plutonium, all the natural coltan, all the natural resources for food, all the natural resources. In order for the system to keep expanding, great power going to be competing against one another on all spheres of the globe. We see that what's going on in Ukraine. Ukraine is an economic war. It's also a resource war. Ukraine, Russia wanted to take gas to Germany and surpass Ukraine and bypass Ukraine. So that politics took place. Poroshenko got, overthrown by a coup supported by, the Europeans and the West. So this complexity of great power competition is taking place. So as the president visit Japan and conclude his trip to Asia, the action. What would he do if hypothetically China invade Ukraine? You know, China is claiming a lot of the South China Sea. So that complexity of great power also exists within those way of thinking, within those ideological of thinking. You know, China feel like all of South China Sea belongs to her. Taiwan is historically a part of her, and the United States say it's going to support Taiwan and its sovereignty. Joe Biden blurb out, maybe, you know, it's a policy. You know, politicians say things, but it become the policy that they have in mind anyway. But, you know, Joe Biden said they would defend Taiwan militarily. That's crazy. We are defending Ukraine, $15 billion package. Another $40 billion military package is supposed to go to Ukraine. So great power competition has surpassed everything. These great powers all around the world. Second tier power, first tier power like Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, England, Germany, France, Japan. All these nations are going to be competing for territory, spares of influence. But the greatest power of them all, Russia, China, most importantly, the dual power right now, China and the United States. But Russia is there as a military power. Great power competition we see taking place all over the globe. Henry Kissinger, former statesman, Secretary of State to the United States, for the last 50 years, one of the most instrumental figures in U.S. foreign policy, a realist, realpolitik. Kissinger believed that Ukraine must also give up land to Russia in order to have a peace settlement and a peace agreement. And the idea of Ukraine joining NATO is just complex. The geopolitical situation